You know, the Beatles have said this, but sometimes a hit single is created in a moment. One of the biggest hits from Collective Soul from the album Dosage was simply titled Heavy, and Dean Rowland talks about how that song came to be. That and a lot more, including some talk on the brand new album Here to Eternity on Rock History Music. Collective Soul had 19 U.S. mainstream rock hits, including 7 number ones, and the song Heavy was one of them, released in January 1999 from the album Dosage.
Oh, Heavy. I love that song. Will and Shane, our original drummer, we were doing rehearsals before we were going to go record the Dosage album. And Ed just heard and it's funny how songs come about. Sometimes they're formed in your bedroom with an acoustic, or sometimes it's in rehearsal and you're spontaneous. And Ed heard what those dudes were doing and just put that riff on top of it, and the lyrics, melody, it really happened. It's one of those that happened very fast. And then it was like, okay, 3-minute pop song. We got a pop rock song, I guess. That was it. It's funny. It's hard to really dissect some of that stuff because it happens in a moment, and it happens from a perspective of almost like you're not ready for it. You know, it's just, there it is. Okay, get it, like lightning in a bottle kind of thing.
Well, speaking of Elton, I had a chance to, through the years, talk to Davey Johnston, his longtime guitarist, Caleb Quay, who played with him in the early days, and then Rock of the Westies and Blue Moves, and Kenny Passarelli, who came on those 2 albums, the latter albums. Oh, Elton seemed a little burnt out, and I didn't care. The music was still good to me, but by the time you get to Rock of the Westies and Blue Moves, I mean, Blue Moves is a double album, and people were saying that he came up with all this. And I know some people don't like Blue Moves, but there's so much going on Blue Moves. There's so many genres.
I mean, I guess you could. I mean, I've never ran a marathon, but it's like I would only assume that it's like you hit a pace, and then you get like an endorphin rush at some point, and you're like, oh, this is what. And it's not. You're not doing it mechanically. You're just like, oh, you're passionately fueled by this thing, and then you hit those creative moments, and you just go with it. And not that we haven't. I feel like every record we've made has been our best offering at that moment in time, right? You're always just, you want to put your best out. Doesn't mean it's your best in your career necessarily. This one, like my brother Ed had been talking about a while. It's been one of his things. He has wanted to do a double album for a while now, and it just really did happen kind of naturally. And it was like, all right, he had a bunch of songs, and we got in the house and recorded them. And then from my memory, we did most of them pretty quickly, and then it's like, okay, you're in that flow, let's just keep going. We went with it.
Collective Soul's brand new album is Here to Eternity, a double album. And one of the tunes is called Where Are You Today, Bob Dylan. We talk about that. How far back were you aware of Bob Dylan?
So his name was always around, right? So and my maturation process was probably not able to handle. And it was like, generational type thing, right? So I probably started to listen to Dylan, I mean, for better, for worse, whatever. And I love it. It was Traveling Wilburys, like, because I love Tom and I love George Harrison. George was, for a long while, was my favorite Beatle. And I love Jeff Lynne. So, and then Bob was kind of lumped into that thing. I'm like, I love all these guys with Roy. And I'm like, who is this other dude? I know his name. And then it was like kind of at that point going down a rabbit hole. Yeah. But maybe it could very well be, a generational thing.
Words Away has sort of a nice My Sweet Lord guitar tone to it in the beginning.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's a song on a new record. It's called Not the Same. It's one of my favorite ones. and it's got a little bit of that the George solo, My Sweet Lord.
Yeah,
it's the same, as the major to minor.
Got to Kick It, and I thought, there's that chutzpah, there's that in your face. Love the phrasing. That's one of those songs that has the feel of Collective Soul. That is why I ended up loving Collective Soul, for songs like
that's cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I appreciate that. Yeah, man, that was a film. It's like when you start talking about a double record, it's like, oh boy, I gotta remember those. I love Kick It. I love personally, like, just if I can speak objectively about it, I love the song "Bluer Than Blue." And I told Ed, like, for some reason that song is like, it's a quintessential Collective Soul, like, riff, but then it goes into like a halftime melodic chorus. Like, that's what I feel. I mean, we have different variations of what we do, but like, to me, that's like a quintessential, like, pop rock song.
Favorite moment with Johnny, speaking of drummers, was there a moment that stands out that you could share with us with your drummer?
With Johnny Rabb?
Yeah.
Oh God, there's probably too many to speak to. I mean, for starters, he's probably one of the kindest humans on the planet. So I'm going to praise him for that. He's just he's a hell of a human being. And then it's like, the talent. I mean, he's world class, elite, doing his thing, right? So, and it's back to one of those things, like, on stage, I'm like, I'm playing, I'm doing my thing or whatever, and Jesse's doing his, Will and Ed are doing theirs, and I'm like, well, goddamn, like, Johnny Rabb is back there playing drums for us. How did we get to this place? It's so cool to me. But it's all like, when the show's over, the shenanigans kick in and we have fun. It's all in good fun. And John's he's just one of the best dudes on the planet.
Hope you enjoyed that. We'll have more from Dean Rowland of Collective Soul the next few days. Make sure you comment on our videos. We always read all the comments. And if you want to help the channel, we're trying to raise money to buy a few more mics for the channel. Some good mics. Nothing wrong with these, but we need better ones. If you want to make a donation, there's a link to PayPal at the very top of the description. Also, a link to Patreon where you can get early access to all our videos. But remember, subscribe, like our videos, comment on them, and share them on social media. I'm John Bowden. This is Rocky Street Music. Take care of yourself.